Right. Okay. So I think I've got it. Okay.
Okay.
I think I can atone for my failure last time. If you just give me a second. Just give me a second. We bid you welcome to Delirium, our magnificent imaginarium, where we fiendishly fabricate fictitious films based from the detritus of the most celebrated and maligned movies in motion picture history. Verily, we do vouchsafe to pursue our perilous plight voraciously, with vivacious verbiage and with a vehement vigour. This is Maybe Movies.
Maybe Movies.
More importantly, if I get it right first time, I'm going to have a star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I was quite impressed with that, so yeah.
Yay! Hello, and, well, as I've just said, welcome back. We are Maybe Movies. My name is Max.
I am Sam.
And I'm Terry Sam.
Did you change that by default?
Yes, well, no one else has got that name, so I thought I'd take that before anyone else snapped it.
Fair enough. I'll go with that. Before we launch into Act 3 of MC for Monte Cristo, we're going to do a very quick shout-out for our friend Jen from Gen X Official, who's a musician and a huge cat lover, who we've done shout-outs for her before. She's American, but she has a fascination for the Welsh language, does a lot of singing in Welsh.
Oh, wow. Kudos for learning the language, never mind any of the other stuff.
Quite a challenge.
Yeah.
But the other reason I'm doing a shout-out for Jen today as well is because she's given us a suggestion.
Oh.
We have a request.
Mm-hmm.
We may need to tweak it slightly because I'm not sure if what she seems to have suggested will quite work, but there is a possibility. So she suggested swapping Thorn, which is a character played by Charlton Heston in Soylent Green,
Okay.
Ooh.
and she just put with Thorn in The Omen Part 2.
You know, when you said Thorn the first time...
Now, my first thought is that she must mean Thorn as in Damien Thorn. I don't think that's going to quite work because in Omen 2 he's only a teenager. Mm. But he's not the only Thorn in the film. As far as I remember, it's Richard Widmark plays his uncle, who he's living with. Mm-hmm. So we could swap those two Thorns, which would give us Charlton Heston versus the Antichrist.
He would just
I believe I approve.
He would just grab a rifle and shoot wouldn't he? Or
What, grab a rifle and was it NRA forever?
all the rifles he wants.
all of the rifles.
But we will give it some consideration, and I know we've got a slot somewhere later in the year.
I haven't seen Soylent Green since I was about 12.
Same.
That was the perfect thing.
It was. But yes, thank you, Jen. We will give it a look.
Excellent. Thank you. Where are we? Oh, yes.
Act 3, which shouldn't really take too long, I hope. There's a couple of they're not problems, they're just things I thought we'd just highlight just so we can know that we've acknowledged them. I know before we just assumed that the Count had discovered the treasure of Sparta, and etc, etc, etc.
Yes.
But it suddenly occurred to me we don't need to worry about it, because it never explained how V has this fabulous wealth. And the treasure of Sparta is going to be in our new version of Monte Cristo anyway.
Of course, yes.
So he just has limitless resources for whatever bullshit reason that V has limitless resources.
Yes.
Because movie.
Because movie, yes.
The only other thing was we never actually decided what she is supposed to have done that has offended him.
Oh. Oh, that's a really good point.
She's not married to any of the others or anything like that, like Mercedes is in Monte Cristo.
I have to admit, I kind of thought it was that it was kind of similar to in the Monte Cristo, when at least part of it is her perceived abandonment of him.
That'll do.
Yeah, I like that one.
I mean, that's the impression I got with that first conversation. Or not the first conversation, the second conversation, when she actually goes, "I know who you are." And he's like, "Oh, Edmund Dantes is dead, that's all in the past."
That makes sense.
Because in the way he speaks, in his mind, she never loved him.
Yeah.
This was true in the past, but this is no longer true. This is not true.
That works. Again, as I said, I didn't want to make a huge thing out of it. It's just so that we've done our due diligence.
No, that's good. And to keep it on track as well, yeah.
Okay, so we've had God is in the Rain, and again, so Mercedes is not Evie. Does she leave?
Well, that's the question. I mean, especially seeing she immediately afterwards sees V's shrine to Valerie and realizes that it's not just a story, but that she's a real person. You know, that part was true.
Yes.
I don't know.
I actually think he sends her away.
Yes, because of his need for vengeance.
Yeah,
Can't allow her to get in his way.
Well, there was that, but I was also thinking he's coming into basically the third act of his revenge.
Yeah.
This is the most dangerous time, and he cannot guarantee that he can protect her, even in the Shadow Gallery.
Of course not, no. He's doing increasingly reckless things, isn't he?
Are we having it at the end that they get together, or are they not together?
We haven't got there yet. No spoilers. They're gonna... Shh, don't
Sorry.
That is for us to decide.
Well, yeah, I think that makes sense. We'll just go from there.
Yeah. With his limitless resources, he can get her a fake ID and put her somewhere out of the way.
Of course, yes.
There's another parallel there as well, because, with V, he does say this is all that he's lived for the past 20 years, and it's about the same amount of time for Monte Cristo, isn't it? It's about 16 years, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah. Right, so we have the sequence with Sutler freaking out and cracking down. Then we get to the bit with Rookwood. Now, is the count going? Of course he does. He still needs to lead the detective by the nose, doesn't he?
Yes, because this is before he goes to visit Creedy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
I was trying to think about this. I think somebody needs to have had some lunch.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay. Is that Mini Sam Terry too? Mini Terry Sam?
Yes.
Popcorn. Yeah, I was trying to think about this. I didn't know whether we needed to have him... He gets the email from Rookwood.
Mm-hmm.
See, I mean, it wouldn't work. When they get there, but obviously they don't meet Rookwood, they meet Edmund. Who is claims to be actually acting as a proxy for him. He's got him under protection. He didn't want to risk coming.
Why not just a disguise?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that because, all right, so they haven't seen him for 16, well, maybe 20 years by the time he exacts his revenge. People's faces, I mean, he was supposed to be a young man, like in his early 20s, like 21, 22, something like that.
Yeah.
So at most he's 42. People's faces don't change that much in 20 years.
No, they don't. The scene with Creedy where he visits him in his house. Part of me wants to say that he doesn't just kind of sneak in. He literally goes announced because you can't touch him.
Yes. Yeah, to the fruitions of his plan, I don't think it makes any difference, does it? Everybody knows who Monte Cristo is. It's more about the conversation that's being had, isn't it?
Yes.
So yeah, of course he would, yeah. And besides, it's the polite thing to do.
It just there's a lovely power dynamic there. That he can just walk in and have this conversation with him in his own house, whilst being watched over by his own guards, and Creedy can't do a single thing.
Is he still in disguise, or is he just
No, just going as himself.
right?
I suppose again, this is the only other little thing that we never decided. What do we have in place of?
We skipped over it because Monte Cristo doesn't have to wear a mask. But what is the symbol of Bastille Day?
I don't even know if there is one. I don't know. Je ne sais pas.
They wouldn't have those masks, I guess.
The nearest... See, if we wanted to do a mask, I suppose we could, in tribute, give them a little moustache like Robert Donat has in the film.
Yeah. Is it something as... Would it be far out to say as a masquerade mask or something like that? If it's set in France? I don't know.
Like a Harlequin mask.
It's a bit similar to these type of styles of masks. They're very out there, but old-fashioned with the moustache.
Harlequin mask in the tricolour, in the red, white and blue. In the French flag. Yes, that absolutely. He does indeed.
Thank you. First one for the book.
Which brings us up to the 14th of July.
I guess it does. Yes, of course it's the 14th of July.
We would assume then that Monte Cristo said, yeah, if you bring me Sutler, I will hand myself in. Or it should be, I have information, you should tell Creedy that he has information about the terrorist. You won't reveal that it's himself. Until the very last minute.
Yes. Yes, that's much better. Yes. Because otherwise what stops Creedy to just grab from Britain?
Exactly.
So yes, it's the 14th. Mercedes returns.
Also, another thing I noticed as well from rewatching the film, Mercedes' surname is De Rosa.
Ah!
So the roses have a double significance.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
This is the part of the film, again, of the original film that I always felt a little bit disappointed by. That, I mean, I understand the point of why they did it like that, where they just basically black bag Sutler and he's there. There's no real challenge to actually...
Well, that's the thing. Creedy is the man in the shadow. He is the man with all the resources.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
And the stuff.
I mean, how do we want to do this? Are we saying this plays out the same way? Obviously, Edwin Dantes isn't vaguely superhuman like V.
No.
No.
So I have a suggestion.
Right, hang on a minute. We kind of jumped ahead.
Have we?
Yes. Bit when Mercedes comes back, he shows her the train.
Yes.
Right, now, is that going to work for this version? Again, I'm not very familiar with Paris. It doesn't have a metro system?
Of course it does, yeah.
Yeah. Does it go to the seat of government?
I think that one's going to have to be because movie.
Because movie. Okay, then. Cool, no problems. Yep, excellent.
But yes, so we were in the underground, we're in the metro, and we've got Sutler there.
I mean, part of the reason that V survives, of course, is to have that whacking great metal plate under his clothes.
Yes.
Despite being somewhat supernatural, yes. Now, yes, this is where things do start to fall apart.
I have an idea. I don't know if it's going to work. It may be stretching credibility a little bit too much. We either get to the point where they kill Sutler, or they've got him, or they're saying to him, "Where is this guy?"
Mm-hmm.
And you can reveal that it is him at this point, but he's paid off all of his security. Which is the other reason why I like the idea of him going to his house unannounced, so he can vet who he needs to speak to, and he's just dumped a shitload of cash in all of their accounts to win them over.
What do you think?
So when they're all standing there pointing their guns at Monte Cristo, a nod from him, they just turn their guns on Creedy.
On Creedy.
Yeah, I quite like that, yeah. No, I was just going to say, you said earlier that this is going to be such a difficult thing to process, because their outcomes are very different. Whereas Edmund's is not going to be as... His sense of justice isn't going to be the same as V's, because V's is going to be a lot more...
He's a lot more...
The publics know, don't they? They're all one to some extent.
Whereas his vengeance is a lot more personal.
Yeah. So the crowd doesn't necessarily have to...
know what's going on down there.
Yeah, have to know or anything like that. So, but yeah, that way of getting them to shoot Creedy at the end.
If we wanted to keep a bit of an action sequence in there, we could say that not everyone has taken the money. So there's a bit of a running battle between the security.
I like that better, because otherwise it's a very brief scene.
Yes. But it also means that we can then get an equivalent of his fight with Mondego. The sword fight, he gets that with Creedy.
Yes. I see
I
what
like
you're
it.
saying. Yes, I understand. Yeah.
Star?
I think so. That was kind of possibly a breaking point for the movie.
Yeah.
He did just fix it.
He did just fix it.
Yeah.
And the only other point with this that I thought we might want to do, just to slightly flip it on its head, if there's any way of contriving that Sutler isn't killed at this point, throws him on the train. Because if Edmund survives, just chains him up or ties him up to the train and sends him in the train to blow up the palace.
It's kind of a nice image.
Yeah, that's quite epic, yeah.
Just imagine the final shot of the train coming in and you just strapped. I like it.
I like it. Does that establish
That's
the
it?
main revenge?
That would be the end of the film. I
Well,
mean,
there's still a bit more, isn't there? I guess.
It's the whole who was he bit.
I suppose the only thing that again just pops into my head now is we could still get her voiceover, but it's as they are basically leaving to disappear into obscurity. He's done what he needs to do. He's got his revenge, as a consequence of which the country is now technically free. He doesn't need to do any more.
And he gets with it. Mercedes, romantically.
I don't see.
Vendetta doesn't quite end on a.
Doesn't quite end on a happy note, does it?
Not terribly.
So, still a love story, but if those two are going to survive, then you might as well have them together.
I think.
It's a happy ending.
I just love a kiss.
I still think we should leave it ambiguous. I think they should leave together. As they say in a lot of things, once you start down the path of revenge, it will control your life forever. So there is still that coldness there.
And
So
then
so it's slightly ambiguous. There is a possibility of redemption, but that's a journey in itself.
And the public don't know that it's him.
No, they just know the symbol, the MC symbol.
Yeah.
I just I like the bit. I mean, because obviously, the question is Finch's question, and I can just imagine it's instead of like, who is he? Who was he?
Yes,
His name is Edmond Dantes, but he was
the Count of Monte Cristo.
he was this.
Yeah.
He was this.
Yeah, maybe that can end on that sort of cliffhanger that he knows only he knows the identity.
I like that.
Ah, maybe like literally building a new life as Monte Cristo.
That's right, yeah, but kind of like Batman as well.
You gave us a sign.
Yeah, the MC side is.
I am vengeance.
Yeah.
Well, most importantly, we fucking did it.
Yeah, we finished the movie. It didn't blow up or anything. Yay!
Oh, this is going to be one of the hardest ones. Yeah, okay. I hope that meets everybody's satisfaction. And now we've got the other half to do, but that will be in a couple of days' time. So we're going to take a bit of a rest, wash our brains, and get ready for the Count of Vendetta.
Dun dun dun!
Until Friday, have a great couple of days, and we'll see you then.
As always, guys, TTFA.
Hello.
Ba 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 ba.